Before we jump in, a warning that we are an explicit book podcast.
Yes, that means swearing, shitty jokes, and a whole lot of dark humour that some may take offence to.
Please check your trigger warnings on all of the books we cover.
You've been warned.
The episode starts in 3, 2, 1.
A book and a bear. Welcome back, everyone.
Oh my God! Where have you been? Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
That was such a good show. Quality entertainment.
It was so good.
Grandma has not been raped, so that is not this episode, but we are a Book and a Bev podcast, and that means we are an explicit book podcast, which you probably guessed from that one snippet. Good. So we are your podcast co-hosts. Myself being Georgia, we've got Briony, we've got Ellie. You're fucking welcome. We're back. Book number 2 in the Bridge Kingdom series, which we just love it. The Traitor Queen. Yep, the girls are holding it up for you. I don't have it because you're not lucky enough for me to hold it.
Why was it so aggressive?
I don't know. We are following our little girl cockroach who is trying to make amends for basically fucking over the entire country of Ithacana and her husband, who is fucking beautiful and we love him. And we're actually quite upset with you right now, Lara, okay?
Yeah, Lara.
What are we drinking?
I'm just drinking some Moscato. I was going to try and drink something in honour of the amount of fucking sand that is so viscerally described in this book that my eyes ached. But I'm actually now just drinking some nice wine.
Beautiful. Well, I'm drinking a dry rosé to accompany my dry vagina due to the lack of smut that was in this book. We had one scene. One.
Yeah.
And she screamed. Did you notice she's a screamer?
Yeah. She was too.
Didn't pick
in
up
fairness, she did have a giant wound during the fucking.
She was like, her innards were nearly outed, and then she was like, "What if I put my dick in?"
In the wound.
No.
I'm drinking Shiraz to represent the blood.
Beautiful.
Okay, so how do we all feel about this? Leading on from that.
Okay, sick. These books are just like a good bit of fun. Hey, it's nothing too serious. It's nothing too one-word. It's just a good bit of fun. We've got some tension. We've got some action. But honestly, still, I circle back. Why was there so much fucking sand? And why was it so, described in such detail that, it's so raw?
If you're wondering, dear listener, Briony's not a beach gal.
I'm not a beach gal. If you're not looking at my face, you might be confused, but as soon as you see me, you're like, she hasn't been outside.
She has not seen sunshine in a very long time.
She is pure alabaster.
She's a Caucasian if you've ever seen one. But anyways, I loved meeting, the other sisters properly. And they were just literally out there to fuck shit up. Loved that. It was glorious. I loved the tension. Like I said, it's just a good book. It's easy to read. It's there's no serious complaints here. I will say that Danielle Jensen, sweetie, honey bun, you need to calm down about the amount that everyone screams during sex. Every girl is a screamer. It's a lot.
I can't say I've ever screamed during.
Yeah.
No. I just did not pick up on that at all.
Yeah, I think it was because I read this and then I read The Inadequate Heir straight after, which is the third book in this universe. And their love scenes in that also involved screaming. And I was like, we've got a trend here.
That makes sense.
Terrarium.
We've got a terrarium, if you will. As above, so below.
Well, this was such a refreshing change of pace. This was just action-packed, heavy on the angsty romance, and I adored it. I really, really loved the first book. So the fact that this continued that momentum just made me happy. I was very, very pleased with this. I also think the first book is where we got our first snippet of starfishing.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Because that was where you declared that you could not swim and you were floating.
Yes.
Because you kept being like, I am Lara.
Yes. However, I'm not Lara in this book, I've decided. She's a bit too much action for what I can handle, I think. I would not rappel down zip lines to save my husband. In fact, I'd just say, good day. I will take your life insurance now. So.
Good day, sir. Good day.
I do wish that, like, spoiler alert if you haven't read the book, I do wish the reunion came a little bit earlier because, like, my little heart, I just wanted them back together. I loved that little romance. I needed them to join in more ways than one before that. Yeah, but, you know, our girl Lara, she went through some shit in this book. Let me just paint a picture. We've had a rescue mission, a sandstorm, bare butt burning, no thank you.
Yeah.
We've had snake chasing, war scenes, and an entanglement with a gaggle of sharks.
Gaggle of sharks.
Well, what's a flock of sharks called? What is a group of sharks?
What is the group name for sharks?
Yeah. What is the collective noun for shark?
Well, what's the collective for fish?
Fishes?
No!
What is it?
Oh.
A shiver.
A shiver.
Surely
a shiver
not. That's a
of
lie.
sharks.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, sorry, let's just redact gaggle and implant shiver.
Shiver.
A shiver of sharks.
Shiver me timbers, I guess.
So, yeah, there's a lot for one book, but I do love it.
I agree. I loved this series. I think it's like a new adult. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it's classified as young adult. I loved it though. I think Danielle did so much right with this series. Like, there's just so much tension, there's so much angst, and like so much love and hatred and pure absolute heartache this entire book. Like, it made me so sad. Like, I was just like, I need them to love each other again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually physically hurts me. But this series is just so easy to read. Like, from Bridge Kingdom all the way to the end of Traitor Queen, like, it was just like, I just gobbled that shit up the first time I read it. Like, it's so easy to go down. I'll swallow it whole.
Nom nom nom.
Oh, she's a swallower.
Well, shall we dive in?
Okay, so chapter 1, Happy Days. We're here, we're ready. We're in Aaron's POV, and we're right back where we left off. Aaron is being held by the enemy, aka Lara's father, aka Big Cunty Pants. And we get this moment. For a while, the pain was an old friend, and discomfort almost a way of life. To be confined to what sights his own mind could conjure was the worst sort of torture. Because despite his most fervent wish it were otherwise, all his mind wanted to show him were visions of her, Lara, his wife, the Traitor Queen of Ithacana. So he's in struggle town right now. He's not doing well. He's basically not able to confirm in his brain if Lara was telling the truth when she said that she loved him, or if she is just a big fat fucking liar.
Fair. We're in Lara's point of view, and Lara is in custody in Erenal? Erenal. In Erenal. She's airing to the side of anal.
That was in the air.
That's true.
But basically, despite like book 1 ending with her kicking ass to impress like all of the Ithacanans, she did in fact not impress them, and instead they put her in jail, which is actually quite fair when you think about it.
Yeah. They were like, we see you, we respect you, but down you sit.
No.
Just for a minute, okay? Just time out for a hot minute because you've done some pretty fucked up things. Anyway, so we're back with Aaron now. We find out in this chapter that the reason Lara's daddy has kept Aaron alive, his son-in-law, is because they want to extract whatever information they can from this poor sausage so they can, like, once and for all, just destroy that country. And
Destroy that country.
Destroy that cunt. Ew, that's interesting.
He actually is, because he's fucking, like, literally so many people. It's actually outrageous.
Yeah.
Someone has an STD. Someone's got chlamydia. It's just going around. They're all like koalas in trees at this point. Just 90% of them chlamydia. It's not a great time.
90% of them chlamydia.
Oh, that's the statistics. It's not good. The populations of koalas in Australia, dear listener, they're not doing well. They're all inflicted with sexually transmitted. Yeah, look, I don't know what's happened, but they've just all been fucking each other.
It happens to the best of us.
It does. Anyway, that's not the important part here. The important part is that Lara's daddy is trying to find her via Aaron. Lara's daddy believes that she loves Aaron and she will do whatever it takes to come for him, because she does come for him and we all know that.
Oh, yeah, we know.
And I don't like the fact that I've linked that with her dad, but essentially he wants that to happen because he will kill her.
Nice.
So now we're jumping very quickly because these chapters are like
Teeny tiny.
So we're back in Lara's POV, and are we going to say Anna or is it Hannah? Anna.
I think it's Anna.
Anna.
Like
Anna.
Frozen.
And Elsa.
Yeah.
Fuck it up. Okay, so Anna comes to visit Lara. Surprise. She's like, I should execute you by literally feeding you to the sharks, which is cool. Awesome new fear unlocked for every time I visit a new place. They might just decide, no, fuck this bitch, I'm going to feed her to a shark. Sick. Cool.
Noice.
But I've decided I'm actually going to give you the time of day and listen to you instead, which is sick. Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Lara then explains everything to Anna, tells her that they need allies, being Harrendell, and Anna needs to marry their crown prince.
There was 2 parts of the marriage pact. The first part was Aaron and Lara, and the second part was Anna and the prince of one of the other kingdoms, but she hadn't done that yet.
No.
And look, fair enough. I don't think I would do well forced into a marriage.
Yeah, no.
I've read enough forced marriages that
It could go well.
It
Fuck
could
it
go
up.
well. I could end up with a billionaire mafia king who will actually kill everyone for me and love me and give me like everything I could ever need in life. So I'm alright with it. So Anna doesn't agree with this, but she basically lets Lara out of her cell and asks her to tell her the rest of the plan.
We're then in Aaron's point of view, and Aaron is being held in the marriage arena castle, palace, situation, complex with the harem. And one day a woman is dragged before him by the magpie and they just start torturing her. Aaron believes it's Lara and is basically begging for her life and is on the verge of giving in when the girl's hood comes off and he realizes it's not Lara. It's an Ithacanan woman called Emra. They exchange this look, which was just really heartbreaking, and then he snaps her neck as a mercy.
Ouch.
And then, like, that was just heartbreaking for me. Like, that was just, I was really sad. Even though you guys are laughing.
No, I was actually saying ouch as in like ouch, that hurts my heart, not ouch, that's hurt her. Because yeah, it would have.
And Ellie's just like, whoa.
Oh, that would have hurt her neck. Ow.
The magpie is like, I've actually got some more prisoners ready that would really love to say hi, but before they can be dragged out, a new voice cuts through the trauma. It is none other than Keris Valiant, which is Lara's brother and the current heir of Maradrina. And behind Keris, there's like these 2 guards and they're escorting a woman. This is Zara and Aphora, who's the general, the heir, and the niece of like the empress of a rival nation. So she's got a lot going on. She's a busy woman. As they leave, Zara basically apologizes to Aaron for her role in things, and you're like, that's super weird, but okay. This encounter is only a very brief respite, and then the magpie continues on torturing people in front of Aaron, so that's awesome.
Yeah, look, he's got a weird sicked up?
Sicked up. He's fully sick, in fact.
He's fully sick. He's a magpie, so says enough. Yeah, look,
Yeah, fuck that.
he's got enough going for him right now. He's not a nice human. But we're back with Lara now. She is with Jaw. So remember, Jaw was like the daddy of the group. We liked him. I'm picturing him as George Clooney.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I hope so. Fuck me.
So she's with Jaw on an errand, and Lara's father has written to Anna requesting their surrender in exchange for Aaron, and it's like, not sure what you were hoping to get from that, but the answer is no, sir. Lara is going to find her sisters to get their assistance because she's like, if anyone can take this bastard down, it's his own children. Just imagine 11 other Laras.
Phenomenal.
I love Lara and I love her sisters.
I know. Imagine being in that harem. But they're all related, so then it's incest.
Oh, yep.
So we won't. But
damn it.
they're only steps. Oh,
No.
siblings, not step. Okay, she might not be able to change the past, but she has planned to shape the future and atone for her role in things, which is like, good on you, Lara. You're making big leaps. She's gone to therapy. She's realised her wrongs.
She's realising things.
She's in a 12-step program. She's making the moves.
I love that.
Good on her.
Then we swap back to Aaron. Yeah, he's still being tortured. There's not really much to report here. He's still in a world of pain. And when he falls asleep, he dreams of Lara, so not much
Pain.
release.
More pain.
Yeah, just pain on pain. He's in a pain
Nice.
sandwich.
Next chapter, we're in Lara's POV, and Lara is in a mountain village looking for Sarhina.
Sahina? Like a
Sahina,
Sahara,
yes.
but a Hina.
Like a sardine, but Sahina.
Sarhina. Okay.
A sardine in the Sahara.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
She is a sardine in the Sahara.
Anyway, everything's fine. Lara is in a mountain village looking for Sahina, her closest sister, the one who she had put like the note in her pocket when she pretended that they were all dead.
Nice.
She finds her, but she sees that she's heavily pregnant, which is
She has been busy.
She's been busy. She's been sleeping around. We love that.
Little hoe, I love that.
Oh, but yeah, so she sees that she's heavily pregnant and she's like, oh fuck, I can't get her involved in this. She goes to leave, but then someone is holding a knife to her throat.
They basically pull back the hood and realise it's Lara. And we meet Bronwyn and Sahina and Cresta, who are 3 of Lara's sisters. The sisters are clear that, they know the truth. They saw what the world was actually like. And they no longer believe the lies that were fed to them, but they also don't condone what Lara did. Sahina guesses what really happened. She's really insightful. She, looks at her face and she's like, you fucking fell in love with him, didn't you? Oh, yep, and then you fucked up. Okay, cool. She's just got it.
I
love her.
She needs her own storyline. I want to know what happened to her in between.
Yes. So Hina guesses that she's there to ask their help, and then we discover that the sisters looked through the piles of corpses that were left behind at the oasis. When Lara was off on her caravan trip and she looked at the burning villa, they thought she was in there. So they were going through piles of burnt corpses looking for her before they found the note. That's traumatic. Lara doesn't feel right asking for their help, but the sisters are keen to get vengeance. So they're like, sign me up.
Now we're in Aaron's point of view. He's not all gravy, baby. He's got some issues going on. Turns out those issues are in the form of 18 dead bodies that are his fellow countrymen that have tried to save him. And
sick.
Oopsie.
Noice.
Noice and sick is the new as above, so below. He is then forced to stare at their rotting corpses daily, which is delightful. Just the smell would be beautiful.
Sick.
Aaron then decides to take himself out, literally, by just yeeting himself from the chat.
Sick.
Nice. I'd just like to say, you're like, oh, Aaron decides to take himself out. My brain went, what? Take himself out to dinner? He got a nice lunch?
Yeah, no.
He was like, self-care is self-dating.
No, he was like, I must remove myself from planet Earth. Anyway, he's making those moves to execute his plan when Keris appears. He begins to speak with him, and Aaron's like, this is a little snaffle in my plans, but I'll hear you out. So we learn that Keris is a full-blooded brother to Lara, which means they can't fuck. Because they shared the same mother.
Which means no incest.
Nice.
No incest with them. Not even a little bit. So, unfortunately, Keris was forced to watch as his mother was killed by his father after trying to go after Lara when she was, taken when she was 5. That's a lot of trauma.
That's so much trauma.
Yeah, you're going to fuck up a few people by doing that.
Are you all right?
So,
that's what we need to ask them.
Are you okay,
We have a self-care circle and say, are you actually all right? Because there's shit's going on here that's pointing all directions to you are not okay.
You are not all gravy, baby.
He's not, and he goes, you know what? You're right, because I've got serious fucking daddy issues. Keris tries to convince Aaron not to kill himself, which is nice, but then he gets interrupted by the magpie, which is not so nice because we hate birds. And look, he does leave a book for Aaron, which has a clue within it, which is lovely of him, but I would not have worked that out.
No. And I feel like it very much could have also been he just left a book and Aaron's looked at it and then gone, you know what, putting 2 and 2 together, but there's actually nothing there.
No, it's literally just a book about birds, and he's gone, yes.
I have an
There's
idea.
actually some weird history about the magpie and its feeding habits, and I would have looked at that and been like, toilet paper. You know what? I haven't wiped my ass in days. This is going to be fantastic.
I haven't wiped my ass in days.
Well, he hasn't. If you think about it, if you're being held captive, you have not wiped
your ass.
You're not. Anyway, so we've got the book, we've got a clue, and it turns out this clue is that the harem might turn against the magpie and help him, which is exciting. He's no longer decided to kill himself. He's like, no, I've got to get in with the ladies because the pussy power shall unite and help me kill Lara's daddy.
Sick.
Nice.
Next chapter, we are in Lara's POV, and Lara and her sisters finally reconnect with Jor and Leah. We get this giant fuck off quote, and I'm so sorry because I'm the worst person to be doing quotes. This is a waste of time, I'm going. Leah rose, turning as she did, only to find herself face to face with Athena, known to her sisters as the Wraith. Athena had hair like the colour of ash, her ghostly white skin courtesy of a mother from somewhere north of Harrendale. She could move through an open space in full daylight without the sun noticing her enough to cast a shadow, as she had just proven. Where the hell did you come from? Jor demanded, rising to his feet, only to find Cresta and Shay flanking him, hands resting casually on their hips. Behind them, Brenna and Tabitha were sitting on the bar, smiles plastered on their faces. What sort of devilry is this? No devilry, Sahina pushed back her empty bowl, even as Katrine, Sierra, Maddie, and Bronwyn strolled into the common room. Just good planning. Now, how about we all sit down and figure out a strategy for kicking our father where it counts?
I was so excited meeting, like, all of the sisters.
I thought this was such, like, an epic moment because, like, they're all just, like, popping up left, right, and centre. And, like, George was like, what? The actual fuck.
It would be like if someone was to meet us at a party and we'd all just randomly come upon them just being like, as above, so below.
Yin and yang.
Sick. Nice.
Nice. But then in Aaron's point of view, and he's basically taken to like a public dinner and seated next to one of the matriarchs of the harem, Coraline.
She's my favourite. I love her.
I love Coraline. She's
MVP.
Savage. She was basically in Silas's father's harem, which he inherited. So he inherited his father's wives.
Question, does he fuck them?
Yeah. Well, he never fucked Coraline because she was a bit too old, but he kept her around, so that's nice, I guess. Nice. She explains that although she has no blood children, to the harem, like, every child is one of their own. They are very protective of them. Zara, in the middle of this dinner, speaks up in Ithakana's defense, and Aaron notices that Karis's knuckles turn white when his father threatens Zara's life.
Oh, a smash.
Smash.
It's actually just a skin condition.
He's got some dermatitis. One of the harem wives basically begins to dance as a distraction. Like, she just starts twerking in the corner. And so Aaron and Coraline can have, like, a coded conversation.
I'm sorry. Now I'm just picturing her just standing, like, up on the table, ass in the air. She's upside down.
Just making eye contact the entire time.
It's not like fast twerking, it's slow.
Slow. Yeah. It's like the little insect, like the cat.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So, yeah, so that wife is on the table twerking slowly, making eye contact. And Aaron and Coraline basically have this conversation, and it's clear that the harem wants to keep Lara and her sisters safe. He ends up basically taking a risk and giving Coraline this information about an Ithakanan spy who works in the marketplace before Silas can cut the conversation short. Back in Lara's point of view, Lara's sisters meet up with the rest of the Ithakanan spies in a jewelry shop, which is just where Aaron told Coraline to go. Turns out Aaron's Nana shows up, so that's a vibe. So he answers the Nana's sass with her own, and she is just like my new favourite person. I love her. They start to basically discuss the options for getting Aaron out, and like, it's not looking good. The shop door opens, and someone from the harem has just walked in. They think it's all over. They've been caught. But then we realise it's Coraline, and she's like, I was sent by Aaron.
Next chapter, we're in Lara's POV. Aaron's Nana allows Coraline through, and we get like a cute emotional reunion for Coraline and the sisters, and Coraline slaps Nana, and honestly, like, we all live for it. What a fucking reunion. Sick.
Noice.
Noice. So Coraline tells them what is happening to Aaron. It's bittersweet because he is alive, but he is obviously mentally just fried. Coraline is hesitant to help the girls infiltrate the palace as she just wants them all to be safe. But eventually Coraline concedes and she's like, okay, sick, let's come up with a plan. Let's go. Basically, Coraline's like, I know what we can do to help you guys get in. We will use the skills of the power of the pussy. That's what we'll use. So, big yikes.
I know a girl who can twerk really slowly on a dining room table.
She's got a great skill set.
Got a YouTube tutorial and everything.
Yeah, she'd be perfect for TikTok, wouldn't she? So we're back with Aaron now, and there's a big storm hitting Maradrina, and Aaron's like, I think this is the perfect opportunity for me to do some squats and some heavy lifting. So off he goes. He's just doing some body weight exercise, which again, why?
Can't relate.
No. 2 chapters ago, we were eating ourselves, and now here we are working out. Like, oh my God, sir. Look, he's still got lots of questions about whether or not he should actually try to live his life, because he does feel very worthless and guilty, and he's wondering why he's still alive. He's got survivor's guilt. He's feeling guilty that he loved Lara, and Lara did this to him, and wah. Stupid white boy, shut the fuck up. Just... Your thoughts are not worthy of me right now. Let's go back to the Lara.
Oh my God.
Ellie?
Sorry, but he's annoying me. I don't vibe a man who's like, if I hadn't loved this woman, then my countrymen would not be dead. And it's like, well...
It's kind of fucking true, though. It is.
It
I'm
is.
100%. I love Aaron with my whole heart in this, because I swear to you, Lara really fucked him.
I don't know. I'm just over it. I want them to reunite and fuck already, and we're only in chapter like 14. So
You've got a
you see where my head is.
Yeah.
So yes, look, he thinks that maybe she's dead, and he doesn't like that idea very much. And it's like, well, it's because your dick still has the tingles for her. Fair enough.
It's that chlamydia.
It's the chlamydia, the koala chlamydia.
Slow clap.
He's got the clap. He's got the clap.
Sorry.
Anyway, so despite like the rotting corpses and just the general down mood, he's happy to be there because his dick's still tingling. So good on you, Aaron.
Sick.
But
Nice.
he decides to go and have another. Okay, so we've decided to go and have a chat to Keris because he seems nice. Yeah, look, he's just not acting normal. So essentially, Keris is like the male version of Lara. He's like, I see what you're plotting, father, and I say no. Keris then draws Aaron's attention to how loud the day was, because apparently that's unusual. A rumour is swirling around that you are being tortured for information about how my father might defeat Aaronhall, Keris said. Such dreadful ideas the masses come up with while cooped up during storms / COVID. Yeah, it does kind of like conspiracy theorists with their owl hats on.
Yeah. Basically, what's happened is Lara has started making the people of Maradrina like Aaron. Like, they've got a little bit of a crush on him. They're like, oh my God, are you Justin Trudeau? And it looks like that's basically taken on a life of its own. And it takes Aaron a hot minute to catch on, but then he realizes what Keris is directing him to, and that's that the Maradrina people do not want the bridge, and they're unhappy at the cost of, like, the king going to war. Keris is like a sassy little shit, and I love him, but he also advises that, like, the royal coffers, they're dry. She's dry as a bone. She's dry as my vagina, as Ellie would say. Why does Ellie know? You don't know.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
Aaron realizes that Keris is basically ready for a coup, so that's nice. That's a little bit of a coup.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, same vibes. Means no worries. Aaron is like, wait a goddamn minute. Why would you let me know all of this crucial information? And Keris is like, well, actually, I need to devise an escape plan for you, and then when you go, you will take Zara with you. The shock. Keris basically says that Zara has offered to ensure that Aaronall has enough food to hold out against the Maradrina army once she is safe, but Aaron has to take her with him when he runs. It's a whole vibe. I love it.
Next chapter, we are staying in Aaron's POV. Aaron spends the next couple of days trying to figure out a way out of the palace. Makes sense. He tries to escape each day to test like a different route, but none of them are successful, which is very unfortunate for him. Next chapter, we're in Lara's POV. Very, very quick one. Lara basically meets with Coraline and slips her a note because dun dun dun, it's time. Woo! To twerk on the table very slowly.
While making eye contact with everyone.
It's going to be really awkward if they're making eye contact with their father while they twerk slowly.
Yeah.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, no.
Let's move on.
Moving on. So we're with Aaron now. And Aaron has essentially had to fake having gastro, which puzzle me this. How does one do that?
Look, do you just... No, I have no solutions.
Do you give yourself an enema? Just like up the butt?
Or do you just sit there and make noises for a while? You're like, oh, God, it's awful.
Yeah, but how do you fake the smell? Have you ever heard of like the horror stories of people that have children and they're like, gastro has gone through my entire house? That was me last week.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, the adults were safe, but the children,
Just put them pants down in the garden, let them fertilise.
Well, pretty much. Pretty much. I was like, okay, you two, well, you're both fucked, so
Yeah.
good luck.
Push them out the door. Good luck. On your own.
Godspeed.
Anyway, so we're faking gastro. As we're doing that, we're writing down the details of the plan for Coraline because she's our fave. But we've got an idea. We've got a guesstimate of how things are going to sort of play out. Mind you, Aaron doesn't know about Lara and her involvement with the sisters. And yes, that's right. We're not even at the point where they've reunited yet. We're in quarter 1 of this book, 9:30 p.m, Q1.
Fuck.
Anywho, so the plan has to happen at dinner as it's like really the only time that they're going to all be around. And the whole plan is for Aaron to help Zara escape because she will then convince her empress to give Ithacana food. Royal politics, that's where we are. So it's dinner time and Aaron is anxious about their plan, which is fair enough because it's a risky plan. But Silas is demanding where his many wives are because remember he has plural wives. And Coraline says that they've planned this big performance for him. And he's like, yes, more twerking. Fantastic.
Love it when my wife twerks on the table.
So yeah, he's just like, okay, I will do exactly what you say, and immediately starts having a conversation with someone else. So just as Aaron begins to sort of lose hope that the plan is actually going to work, 6 young wives walk into the room and start to
doing a bad joke. Well, they're sisters, just as wives, so it works. Aaron is basically confused until one of the women looks at him and he realizes that they all have the Valiant eyes, you know? No one in the harem has those eyes. And so he realizes, oh shit, this is the daughters. And then if it's the daughters, he looks at one in particular whose body he knows anywhere, and it's Lara. Their eyes meet. And the quote we get is, then her head turned and their eyes locked. Aaron's heart gave a violent thump in his chest. She had betrayed him, stolen away his kingdom and caused the death of his people, been the reason Silas had kept him locked up. Aaron hated her like none other. Yet in that moment, it was memories of tangling his fingers in her hair that assaulted his thoughts. The feel of her hands on his body, her legs wrapped around his waist, lips pressed against his, the smell of her filling his nostrils and the sound of her voice in his ears. It was all lies, he silently screamed at himself as she circled the table. She is your damnation, yet there was no denying that she'd come here for him.
Oh my God.
Absolutely feral for that.
Oh
my God.
It's so good. The dance ends. Lara and her sisters have ceased their twerking, and Silas is like, oh my God, that was so much. There was just ass everywhere, and I don't care. But then Lara jumps on the fucking dinner table, and she doesn't twerk. Instead, she is like, grandmummy, it's me, Anastasia. What's up, Dad? It's Lara.
So the 5 other sisters basically just, they just start cutting throats of the guards. They're just like, right, we're here to party. Here we go. And like, it's on like Donkey Kong from there. Aaron starts to panic, and despite his best intentions, he tries to free himself to defend Lara. Remember, he is chained. Manacles
he's chained and he's angry at Lara.
He is, but he's still like, I must get to my woman. And it's like, yes, you must. But Lara is like capable. She does not need a man with a plan. She is the damn man with a plan. So she's just taken out a shit ton of guards. Just like it's, Sunday morning at church. She's just knocking off heads. I don't know why I made that reference.
What church do you go to? Sign me up.
Anyway, Coraline then unshackles Aaron and Silas watches her do it. So they're like, well, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Poor Janet, she's gone. Aaron then grabs Zara and gets distracted because Lara is pretty fucking hot when she's killing people, which is like, yes. So we've got a quote. The men were skilled, head and shoulders taller than her, but the speed with which she moved, he'd never seen her fight, only seen the result she left behind in Sereth, but now he understood why the body count had been so high, and it's not that body count, if you know what I'm saying.
She hasn't just been a murderer.
Because remember, she was a little virgin when she came to...
Well, she did have her training in the seductive arts, so we don't know what that entailed.
Okay. That's concerning. Anyway, Lara
Yep.
tries to convince Coraline to run with them, but she's like, look, my time is done. And she gives an epic speech about how Silas deserves this and that she welcomes becoming a dead martyr so that she can have a great vantage point to watch him suffer from
I
the
love
beyond.
it.
She sounds
Fucking
like
up.
me whenever I discuss me dying first in our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Coraline, I feel you. So before they run, Coraline asks Aaron to forgive Lara because she loves him. And I love that.
Thanks,
because he
Coraline.
really needs to, because I just need to fuck already. And it's only like chapter 20, but please. Anyway, he's like, actually, no, she doesn't know what love is. And Coraline is like, that is why you need to forgive her, because if she knew what love is, she would never have betrayed you in the first place.
Yeah, it's trauma. Hurt people hurt people. They run for it, and Aaron looks at Lara, blood-drenched and battle-scarred, and is like, damn, you are so hot. Karis finds them in a stairwell and reveals that actually Aaron and Lara's escape plan is just his way of covering the tracks for him to save Zara.
Thanks,
Super
bro.
interesting choices. So Karis and Zara part ways with them, and this escape continues, and they end up using a zip line to fly across the palace, and Bronwyn gives us like some absolutely stellar commentary as this is happening. I just love it. I love it all.
So Lara's point of view, Aaron is like, nope, I don't care, all gravy, I hate you, bye. Sick. They all make it across the flying fox and blow the gate. Sick.
Yeah.
Aaron's point of view is the next chapter. Lara catches Bronwyn just in time as the explosion hits them. Also sick. They make it to the stables and they use the people hunting them as cover to ride out into the city on some stallions.
I'm having the horse girl moment. I'm so happy.
Literally. The pursuit through the city on horseback is intense, and Lara herself dives off of her horse to buy them time with a bow and arrow. What'd Aaron is again trying to be like, lol, it's fine if she dies, but obviously it's all a front. And we see right through him because we see his internal monologue. Ha ha. They make it to the Western Gate, but reinforcement are hot in pursuit. They're not hot, but they might be.
They're mediocre at best.
Aaron decides to list all of the ways he doesn't trust Lara, which slows them all down enough for Bronwyn to be shot in the shoulder. Sick. Thanks, Aaron, for that. He ends up doubling back to get Bronwyn out, though, because he realizes that was actually my fault. Lara falls back to cover their retreat because, again, badass FMC. We love her with our whole heart and more. The next chapter, we're in Lara's point of view, and Lara ends up hunting down their immediate pursuers and takes them out, but more reinforcements are inbound. So she tries to make it to the hideout in time, but there's this whole
It's so
Indiana Jones, just
fast
barely
pace.
getting away. Yeah.
5 chapters of just relentless chasing.
With a lot of horses. It's
with a
just
lot of
Saddle
horses.
Club on steroids.
And I am so happy. It's like the Saddle Club, but make it Fast and Furious.
Oh my god. Fast and Furious takes on Saddle Club. Furious Saddle Club.
Furious Saddle Club.
Anyways, hello world, this is me. We're in Aaron's point of view, and Aaron, Krista, and Bronwyn make it to the hideout. Nana literally is there and drops everything to run and hug him, like when she sees Aaron, and then Lara appears and begins to work with Nana to help look after Bronwyn. Aaron and Sahina take watch, and Sahina has no time for Aaron's pity party, and again, she's my absolute favourite. Aaron is like, Lara is a traitor and she deserves to die, and Sahina is like, would you like to watch me hold a knife to your throat while pregnant? Because I will do it. Sahina tells Aaron what they went through in training, and we get this moment. Why are you so stupid that you can't understand that his lies were like poison? A poison we will never truly recover from. I know the truth. I've seen it with my own eyes, and yet more nights than not, I wake up in a frenzy, my hatred for Ithacana back like it had never left at all. As abruptly as she'd attacked him, Sahina rose to her feet, rubbing at her lower back. Eyeing her warily, Aaron rose, touching his stinging throat. Lara made a mistake, she said wearily. If she'd trusted you with the whole truth, none of this would have come to pass. But please understand that her coming to trust you at all is nothing short of miraculous. She's as much a victim of my father's machinations as you and Ithacana, though unlike you, she isn't willing to let him win. Lara remains queen of Ithacana, even if you've given up on being its king.
Smash.
Jesus.
Sahina. I love her.
She's like clutching her lower back in that stereotypical pregnant pose where you're like,
Which
oh
I do, and I'm not pregnant. I just get,
Yeah,
I'm like,
same.
it's too much. Lara and Aaron talk, and Aaron is pissed that his sister Anna has basically gone to fulfill her side of the marriage pact, and Lara reveals that for the plan to truly work, there's another trip they need to make, and that's to Valcotta to beg the Empress for aid, aka Zara's auntie.
So, Lara's point of view, the next chapter, they make it through the night, but Lara has barely slept as she is so worried about Bronwyn dying and Aaron hating her. Sahina and Lara talk in the morning, and Sahina is like, you know he may actually never forgive you, but that doesn't really matter to me. If you want to leave right now, we can do it. And Lara, she can't walk away, you know? She is just like, she needs to see Aaron through, and then afterwards go after her dad for reals.
So show.
Sahina asks her to do what she needs to do, but then come back to them once it's all over. And it's just a really beautiful moment. The sisters say goodbye and it's beautiful, and then they all part ways and Lara and Aaron set off on their journey. Lara tells him the rest of the plan, and Aaron reveals that her and Keris are full-blooded siblings. He also tells her that her mother is dead.
Wow.
Ooh.
Sick. It's a really awkward ride from there onwards, as Aaron basically intermittently decides that he wants to question her, and then he doesn't, but then he does, but then he doesn't again.
Yeah.
He still has the letter that she sent that betrayed him, and he basically can't let it go, which
I'm also really impressed he held on to that. Throughout all of the torture, he was like, you cannot get rid of this one piece of paper.
Literally. Where is it? He's shoved it. He's
No, he can't shove it up there because he had gastro, remember?
Anyway, she tells him everything, even when he's trying to stop her. He's like, la 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 la, and she just keeps talking. She realizes that he hates himself more for trusting her than he actually hates her for her actions, which, very sad. Where. Before the conversation can continue, soldiers arrive in pursuit with doggies. 2 days pass, and they can't lose the doggies on their trail. They are getting pinned, and the only option is to go through the Red Desert. We've been here before.
There's some silent assassins around here somewhere, if you think about it. We're then in Aaron's point of view, and their horses die first, so that's awesome. But Lara pushes on. Aaron is not coping with the heat, and oh my god, is it me? Quite possibly. A sandstorm appears, and because they are both in such poor conditions, they then also decide that we might as well fuck it up, and they decide to brave the storm and hope it takes out the enemy soldiers on their trail.
Risky move.
Yeah.
They're like, we're heading into a natural weather event, but I feel that we can outlast them for no other reason.
It.
I'm going clean girl era manifesting. So we're back with Lara now, and look, it probably wasn't the best idea for them to just head first into a sandstorm because Aaron's not doing too well, and it's surprising because he's a white man, but here we are. So, you know, he's exposed to the elements, and he's like, oh my god, what is this? I don't have secret security men in front of me to protect me from elements, and here I am. Lara's just like, you know what? I will get you through this, sir. So she drags him through the storm to an oasis. And this entire chapter is essentially Lara literally dragging a dead weight man behind her through a sandstorm into safety. And it's incredible. It's an incredible feat of human strength. And it's also like, Aaron, fuck you doing, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, I realize you've had 3 months in captivity and you probably, you know, your muscles aren't doing great.
Also, like, she has wrapped his face to protect him, but sand is whipping into her eyes and stinging
her eyeballs.
Her eyeballs. And that's where it's so viscerally described.
Yeah, the balls of her eyes are stinging. So, men, if you picture your scrotum in your face, whipped by sand.
No. Actually, no, we're not going into scrotums being eyes because I don't want to deal with that.
So, look, she's managed to get them to a little bit of water, and she's like having to filter the water repeatedly with like a scrap of cloth because it's all just covered in sand. And it's like, this is a lot of work, but here she is. So she's bringing the water back to Aaron. She's not even like cleansing herself in it. She's like, no, I must feed my poor sickly white man. And it's just, it's beautiful.
In Aaron's point of view, he's basically dreaming of Lara reading to children in Ithaca during a storm.
That's a weird dream.
It is. But anyway, Aaron wakes up to find them asleep next to each other, still in the sandstorm, and holds her close. He knows that she is the reason he is alive, and he goes to explore the compound while she sleeps, but it doesn't take long for her to wake up. But she's looking for him, panicked and blind, and for a moment, Aaron considers leaving her, like just there, blind and stumbling, but then he sees how fucked her eyes are and realizes what she went through to guide him to safety, and he's like, I should probably help you. So they do this thing like they boil water and start cleaning out her eyes, which again so viscerally describes that I'm uncomfortable. They discuss the oasis and everything that happened to Lara while she lived here, and as Aaron is about to start the process, he looks at her face. Would he have fallen for any of the other sisters if they had been the ones to come? Would he have made the same mistakes? Maybe, but he didn't think so. There was something about her, something that had spoken to his soul in a way no other woman he'd met ever had.
Yeah, look, maybe he's not good enough, though. I'm going to need, like, a solid no on that.
Ellie's like, what do you mean you knew other women?
You know me and only me. Even if I fuck your country.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
will accept it gratefully.
Aaron knows that things cannot go back to how they were. His people obviously would not forgive Lara, but in that moment he decides to let go of the past, and like he burns that letter that was up in his like gooch. So that's good for him. In Lara's point of view, like they're discussing their options. The Oasis has no food, so they need to move on, but how they go about it, because things from here are a bit up in the air. They disagree on tactics, as Lara is willing to like fuck up civilians to get them out of the desert, and Aaron's like, that's actually a hard no for me. So that's a touch brutal. But their argument is stopped by the sound of hooves outside.
So, next chapter is Lara's point of view. A camel survived, yay for camels. They will use this camel to get out of the desert, sick. Next chapter is also in Lara's point of view, and she goes searching around the old compound, gets some clean clothes and finds her old childhood goodie box. It has a bracelet that Bronwyn made for her, a coin from Sahina, and a necklace from her mother, which she cries over. Very, very sad. Aaron wakes up.
As just pictured by George's voice right now.
Very
incredibly sad.
Aaron wakes up to that because he's like, oh, the sound of her crying. That's exactly what I need to be here for.
Yeah, I just need to watch her suffer.
Yeah.
His dick is tingling again.
You could use it as a lube. Anyway.
Oh my God, man.
Briony.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so he gets up, he sees her crying. He's like, oh, okay, damn, she doesn't look that nice when she cries. Are you okay? Can you stop? She explains that the necklace was from her mother, and Aaron explains that he saw Seren's torture room, and we get this moment. Aaron nodded slowly. He especially liked to tell me what he intended to do to you when you were caught, would trick me into believing that they had you, and I was terrified because I knew that if they ever succeeded, I'd tell them anything they wanted to know.
Oh.
Smash, screaming. Fuck it up.
Smash.
Lara promises death to Seren and asks him about her brother. Aaron says that he doesn't really understand her brother's intentions. No one really does, and really, I don't really care right now. I'm too busy. They also find poison, and it's the same that she used to fake her sister's death in the treasure box, because she's like, this is a prized possession of mine, I must keep it forever. So they end up taking it.
So now we're in Lara's point of view, and they've had this moment where he's connected with her because he saw her crying, and she's like, oh, he might actually have some sort of feeling to me other than hatred. And he's like, lol, jokes, I just thought that I could have a quick fuck with you because you're emotionally vulnerable, but here we are. Anyway, she's trying not to push him too hard, and also Aaron is not coping again with the heat of the desert. And it's like, mate, Lara's eyes have literally been burnt out of their sockets from the sand, and yet here you are not coping with the heat of the desert. I'm sorry, poor man. Tell me again how this is such a hardship for you.
Lara is trying not to push Aaron too hard, but that in itself is hard, just like Aaron's cock is hard when he's around her.
Absolutely.
They've been walking for a week, but there's zero progress, none whatsoever, which is great, just walking around in circles. They have named the camel Jack, which is very cute. We love Jack the camel. Aaron hates him, so we hate Aaron.
Yeah, sorry Aaron, you're done. We're overthrowing your country because you didn't like the camel.
Exactly, we love Jack. We stand with Jack. So Lara convinces Aaron to rest on the camel while she leads him, but really she like goes in search of water, and she gets to like a trading outpost and is caught trying to get back to Aaron with supplies. This is not a good time.
No.
We jump to the next chapter in Aaron's point of view, and Aaron wakes up and realizes that Lara is not there. He gives her some time, but then realizes that something's obviously wrong, and, you know, he's got to go out searching for her.
And look, something has gone incredibly wrong, because Lara has been put in something that is called a pillory. So, okay, she has been stripped and locked in a wooden frame to burn in the sun. Yikes. The people that have her locked up basically make comments about wanting to cook the skin from her bones, and that's a bit cannibalism for me, so no. Aaron then arrives in town pretending to be like a drunk, stranded traveller and ignores Lara completely. Aaron is basically giving the merchants who had Lara jailed a fake name and just like hangs out with them, gets sloshed, the men kiss on the sand near her and she's blistering from the sun, but what can you do when a good beer is offered, right?
Oh my goodness.
Aaron then comes over to piss near her, so that's nice.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. He's like, I know you wanted to see my dick, but we just couldn't figure out a right way to do it, so here you go. And he basically says that they plan to feed her sun-cooked flesh to the dogs.
That's not nice. The dogs don't need that.
Yikes. And he then just saunters off to leave her on her own again. So she's basically freaking the fuck out. She's like, I'm not okay. I'm dying here, so I've got to come up with a plan. But actually, Aaron this entire time has been pretending to be drunk and pretending to be their friend so you can figure out a way to get Lara out, and his ruse against the merchants starts to kick off as they try to kill him for his camel. They tried to take Jack, and Aaron
not
is
their
like,
son.
not
their
my son! Aaron then takes out the men, leaving a young boy alive because, you know, he apparently says, do not fuck them kids. He's off to get his wife back, so that's nice. Squealing.
Just
squealing. Because he's like, I've got to go get my wife back, and I'm like, she's your wife again.
We love it. We love it when he says the word wife.
But do you know what I don't like? When he says to Lara that he's like off to go chat to the barmaid, and he strolls on into the tavern and like
Ellie's like, what do you mean you're talking to another woman?
Look, I'm standing there, butt ass naked, just ass in the wind, and I'm like,
this is where it's the bare butt queen. She's just
bare butt
there
queen
with roasted cheeks. Just
she is presenting to him.
Oh my god, the bare butt queen,
like a baboon. She's just there. Her ass is in the air. It's actually a gibbon. They're the ones with the pink butts. They're just there, bum in the air. And she's like, sir, how dare you? No, I have not.
Can't say that I have.
No.
So next chapter, we're in Lara's point of view, and Lara wiggles herself. So the pillory lifts out of the ground, and then she face plants head first into said ground. Sick.
That's where people were pissing.
Yeah,
Ooh,
and Aaron's
beautiful.
watching this all go down from afar with Jack, and he's like, I should probably help her, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
She was actually pinned and was suffocating. It had really gone wrong. She'd fallen face planted and she couldn't get up and she was dying. So
he was like, I shall step in
now.
That's when he's like, all right, I should probably help. So he gets her up, cleans her off, like wipes her knees down. He's like, you'll be all right.
Oh no, wipes her knees down.
They run for like the forbidden spring thing that they've got, and Lara's like, we can't go in there. We're like, Lara, shut the fuck up, get in the fucking spring,
Get in the water, we don't have time. But again, she can't swim, so I guess it's not so fair.
True. It's valid.
Hell. During this moment, we get a moment where basically Lara is holding on to Aaron for dear life, and she tells him that she thought that he was going to leave her. And we get this fucking quote, God help her, but she loved him, needed him like she needed air to breathe, wanted him, despite her body feeling like it was on the brink of death. And then we get this. Aaron whispers to her, Lara, no matter where you are in the world, if you need me, I will come for you. Please know that. Screaming, crying, throwing up, shitting, squealing, squelching, running down the neighbour's lawn, shitting on their front lawn.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a new one.
But yes, so coast is clear. They make a run for it, or at least Aaron does, and he just basically carries her like a spider monkey.
If someone said to me, no matter where you are in the world, if you need me, I'll come for you, I'd be like, where will I be?
Where am I going?
Sorry. Have we made some mutual agreement that I'm not aware of? Enlighten me.
What do you mean we're going somewhere? You'll be there, so...
Sorry, like what you just said was irrelevant at best, but carry on. So while I'm dying in the pond, Aaron kisses me. It's like a little chaste kiss. It's just like a barely whisper on the lips kind of thing.
Just to keep the Menti bee at bay.
The dick is tingling. The fanny is fluttering. Aaron has now carried her back to Jack on his back, and like there's other camels there. Yeah,
and she was bareback before.
She was bareback, so she's bareback on his back, carrying him to Jack's back. He's actually Jack Black as well, and he's just singing. He's got his ukulele out.
Black. the camel, and then Lara will go on the back of Jack like the camel.
Mm-hmm. Right. She's not doing well. So she's got like 3rd-degree burns from the tip of her neck to like the bottom of her feet, because they're saying it's just her back, but I'm like, no. Like, it's going to be your whole thigh region.
She has 3rd-degree burns on her butt cheeks. Do you guys remember when people were sunning their taints? Do you remember when that was a thing?
Yeah. I'm a burning girl. I don't tan. I go from white to red to blister back to white. At no point do I go brown. And yeah, I get the pain. I get where she's coming from. So Aaron's like, you know what? I will walk for the next few days. You've given me some time off. You ruined your scrotum eyes for me, then had to walk in the blistering sun while I still recovered. So I will give you a little bit of respite. Thank you, Aaron, for doing the bare fucking minimum here. But if it were me, if I were Lara in this moment, as I have embodied Lara this entire book, I would be like, no, you know what? Leave me in the pond. Let me float away. Starfish to my death.
Absolutely. It's how I'd want to go.
Anyway, we now have a quote because we're getting cute again. He shouldn't have done it. Aaron knew that much. He told himself that it was because he'd been terrified she was dying in his arms, that it was nothing more than a chaste brush of the lips, that it meant nothing, except that it meant everything. For that one kiss had shattered the crumbling walls he'd built up against her in his heart. And he knew that if she wanted it, if she offered it, that what came next would be anything but chaste.
Fuck.
He means anal.
Oh, sick. Even with her burnt caboose?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. She wouldn't even be able to lay down on her back, though. What position would you do?
You'd have to really improvise. You'd have to cut like a pillow of some kind.
Yeah.
Or just lather her up in like aloe vera.
I was going to say missionary just on the side, because then limited amount of body is on the bed.
Yeah. What about reverse cowgirl?
But then her ass cheeks are still on him.
Well, I feel like there's really no, because they're still going to be ball slapping, you know?
True.
All right. Lara decides to take a bath. Amazing. He can't look away. We love it. But he knows that even though she is all he could ever want or need, it is not possible. Boo.
Boo. We get a couple quotes. Aaron fought the urge to go to her, to peel that last scrap of clothing from her thighs so that he could taste her, make her lose control and scream his name, her body shuddering beneath him, her fingers tangling in his hair as he buried himself inside her. She was everything. Mind, body, and soul. She was everything he wanted, everything he needed, the Queen Ithacana needed. But thanks to Silas and his greed, she was everything Aaron couldn't have.
He wants to make her scream. Lucky for him, she is in fact a screamer.
Yeah. So Lara comes over and she's like, I can see that he's having deep and meaningful thoughts.
Nice.
She tells him that she's going to leave once they meet up with the other Ithacanans and that it won't ever work between them, even if she loves him. And we get this moment, which is she was right and he knew it. But in his heart, he knew that if he never saw her again for the rest of his life, it would never be over. She would always be his queen.
Fuck.
Absolutely smash.
They've gone to Valcotta, so they've reached their destination. It's Pancotta, but with a V.
It's Valcotta, the absentee sister to ricotta and panna cotta.
Oh, there you go. It is too, as above, so below.
Yin and
So
yang.
they've arrived there and they're meeting up with a lone figure within the bar. It's George Clooney. Hello. He's a bit shook. He's like, Aaron, didn't realise you were alive. I've been waiting here for 7 fucking months, but hi, here we are. Then George was across the table, glass crashing to the floor as his arms tightened around Aaron, the both of them kneeling going backward. You're alive.
Oh. It's so beautiful. I actually can't. That reunion was like, yes.
So sweet. Loved it, especially when it's George Clooney embracing a younger Brad Pitt.
Oh.
Yes.
They go to the rooms, hello, and discuss everything privately. Oh, hello. But not in that way. Because Lara finds out that she's an auntie. Because she's like,
the baby.
yeah, can you please tell me about my sisters? Are they all alive? And he's like, not only are they alive, you're an auntie. And she's like, oh my God. As it turns out, Anna has made a deal with Harendale and she's going to marry that prince once everything is over. So
Nice.
that will be for a future book, I assume. Then Aaron has to secure his allegiance with Valcotta, Panacotta, Rittacotta. Rittacotta.
It's the cheaper
That's how-
knockoff version.
I was going to say, that's how Amelia would pronounce it.
Oh, don't bring her into this. Aaron and Lara go to see the Empress. Zara greets them when they get there, so she got out, and that's good. But it's clear that the Empress does not know about her involvement in getting supplies to Ithacana. They meet the Empress, and damn, she hates Lara like nothing on earth.
So we jump to Aaron's point of view, and a large guard called Wellran. He can well run fast. But he tackles Lara. Cool. Just a large man throwing around his weight. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, but we really get this really good encounter, which is Aaron trailed after the woman, but paused next to Lara and the guard, Wellran. The last thing he needed was things escalating. Pressing a hand against the big man's shoulder, he said, I can't in good conscience go without warning you. The Valcottan's brown eyes darkened. She saw you coming from a mile away, palmed your knife when you took her down. All that wriggling she's doing, I'd bet my last coin that the blade is only about an inch from your balls. Straightening, Aaron started towards the stairs, the sound of Wellran's booming laugh following him upward.
I love that. I like Wellran.
I like him too.
He's
I
just
hope
like,
that
that
we
is
get-
actually quite funny. Well done.
Hope we get more of that, because tee-hee-ha-ha. Aaron and the Empress speak. Zara is also there. The Empress makes it clear that she will only aid Ithacana if Aaron kills Lara. He obviously is like, I cannot do this. She might be a traitor, but damn, that pussy is good. He refuses and leaves. And he risks everything again for her life.
Oh.
I love it.
He's just
He's
out
just
there doing the
trying.
bare minimum, not willing to kill his wife. You go, man. We're now with Lara again, and she picks up pretty quickly that she was the asking price for Valcotta's allegiance, and she's like, you know what? Kill me now. That's fine. And he's like, no. I want to cream pie you, so I will not be
Oh.
letting you. Aaron's main goal is to keep his wife and to have peace. That's just
Yeah.
all he wants. And then Zara appears, and her and Aaron begin essentially negotiating a peace treaty, despite the fact that Zara is not yet heir. You just claim that power and run with it.
Yeah. Zara is clearly of the same mind as Aaron and wants to stop the war, and is basically sick of the endless fighting that they've all inherited. And turns out so is Keris. So that's a shocking twist of events. Aaron is like, oh my god, you guys are in love, but I will keep your secret to myself, thank you very much. Zara plans to take a crew and get Southwatch back for Ithacana, basically behind the Empress's back.
Lara and Aaron go to the captain's quarters on the ship with Zara and Jor. Our girl gets seasick. Again, no one is shocked by this. Aaron follows her out onto the deck and shows her these ginger candies that he stole, and he stole them for her, and he just which is super cute, and we love that. He says that the trip will be 3 days, and she says that that's where she'll leave them, and that she can't go any further to Ithacana. We get this heartbreaking moment then, which is, I wish things could be different, but they can't. I need you to know that I forgive you, Lara, that I should go back. They'll be wondering where I am. She
Oh my
knows,
god.
unable to speak, unable to say a word, as he let go of her and went back inside. But in her head, the same phrase repeated over and over again. I love you.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh.
This is
Actually
like the
throwing up.
worst slow burn, but like the best slow burn. Oh my god, it's killing me.
I know.
So they get to where they're going, and Lara and Aaron have to say goodbye, which I'm not ready. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm not ready for this moment
No.
yet.
No.
But before they can do, thank fucking God there's an attack. And Keris is there with his forces, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because he wasn't expecting them. And he tells them to run. So it's like, thank you, bro. Aaron is supposed to leave her at the beach. She's like, all right, I'm going to see you guys off. Like, farewell, George Clooney and mediocre white guy with nice hair. And Aaron just stops her. So he's like, I will fight with you. We have a quote. And it was not, Aaron thought, the worst way to go, with his queen fighting at his back. I'm sorry, with his queen? Hello?
His queen.
With his queen.
That fucking quote, feral.
Love it. So before they end up dying, Zara rocks up on the shore with her boat and her forces just jump out, join the skirmish.
I'm on a boat.
They're saved.
I'm on a boat.
Well, they're not
Pretty much.
anymore. They jumped out.
I'm
on a beach. Aaron and Lara then swim to the boat that Jaw has managed to get. Aaron's just like pulling her with him.
Yeah, I think
At
she's
this
kind
moment?
of going to make sure that he gets to the boat, and she's essentially doggy paddling in the shallows.
Which is me. That is the extent of me. It's like, it's a weak doggy paddle and then starfish. We've exerted our energy.
She goes to go into the starfish and just float back the way she came. And he's like, get the fuck back here.
Pretty much. He just basically grabs her and like yeets her onto the boat. He's like, it's time to go home, my queen.
They're all
Dead.
He could not leave her behind because that's not a happy ending, and she's got just the most delightful little vagina, and he just couldn't do it.
delightful little vagina. That makes me feel ill.
Big ick.
That will go in a tote bag one day. So
delightful little vagina. Oh my God.
Anywho, he's now realising, oh, I may have made a bit of a faux pas here because my country hate her. Yes, rightly so, because she did fuck them quite royally there. They make it to Ithacana, but Asta is the person in command of all the soldiers that greet them. I remember Asta was like the really old dude that just hated Lara and everything she stood for.
Correct.
That's not great.
Yeah, it turns out he's still doing that as well.
Yeah. Last book, he actually wanted her to face trial by shark when she...
He's still holding on to that, honestly. He's quite committed. I think he just wants to see someone eaten by sharks.
Yeah, he should just watch Jaws. There's other ways to get off with
Yeah.
that, Aston.
Did you say there's other ways to get off?
I did.
Shark kink. Instead of shark week, it's shark kink.
Shark
No.
kink.
No.
Yep. Shark bait. Ooh-ha.
Hoorah.
Anyway, it's a tense standoff, and Lara basically just acknowledges her fuck up and says that she's just there to try and like fight their enemy and will do whatever she needs to do. And then Aaron declares that he does not consider her his wife or his queen, and that she will leave immediately after the war ends. I was like, sir,
You just
so
called her.
you just said it's time to go home, my queen.
Yeah,
What the
literally.
fuck has happened?
Well, then in Lara's point of view, like you'd think she goes to Ithacana and she screwed them over, and so like what is people going to try and kill her, beat the living shit out of her? It's actually something she can't fight against. One after another, the Ithacanans come up and they sit down and they tell her about what they have lost because of her, and she just has to basically take it.
How could you live with yourself after that?
Yeah, like she hears truth after truth and lets it settle in her. And like you just said, how could you cope with that? But she's holding it. She's holding that space. Aaron comes to get her when it's time for the war to start, and they go to free an island called Gamaya first, which is where Nana's island was. As they're about to start their plan, a patrol walks past, and their first option of getting onto the island fades. So the next option is Snake Island. Lara volunteers to make the run, basically across the sands to climb up then the side of this island, because she is basically ready to die for a chance to make everything right. She gets ready. She's got to run. She's off. She's fast. Aaron is bellowing at her to run faster. She makes it, but feels an impact on like the back of her ankle, but doesn't have time to consider if she's been bitten.
Yikes. Jor and Asta are having to hold Aaron back because he wants to run to Lara to save her, and we fucking froth it. We're frothing from the mouth. Lara made it through and she is fine. She clears the way for them to climb up. The Ithacanas look at her with respect now because they're like, fuck, that took some balls, lady.
Yeah.
You've got some big balls. They continue their way through the island and take out other patrols. They're all masked, but Lara like smears some mud on her face for dramatic effect. Weird flex, but okay. Sick.
Lara basically has little doubt that the people would rally around Aaron again because they are nothing but sheep in this world of mediocre white men. And here they are,
God.
ready to be led. They find out that Taryn is still alive. Do you remember Taryn, guys? She's the cousin that we don't fuck in this book. She's lovely. We were friends with her initially. But essentially, she's been held captive due to her knowledge of the, like, equipment on the island. Lara basically launches herself in to fight before Aaron's, like, given the call to start fighting to save her. And in the process, she ends up getting a knife wound to the upper thigh, hip region, to the bone. Deep, we're talking here. Taryn's just like, not good enough, bro. I've been through some fucking shit. So, you know what? up. You're going to need to take a few more of those knife wounds to be able to amend for what you've done here. Anywho, we swap to Aaron after this, and the battle has now finished and the island has been liberated. So that's good. That was a quick fight. But Taryn wants Lara dead, which is understandable. I mean, she has caused a lot of disarray, if you will. But she's only really calmed down by the thought that she will leave when the battle is over. Aaron has to sit down after the fight because he's a little bit parched and needs a bit of a break. And he's like, hang on, where is the woman that's not my wife nor queen? I haven't seen her in a little while. I'm a little bit concerned.
Yes, and then we jump into Lara's point of view next. And Lara's injury is not very good. No, not at all. And it will not stop bleeding.
That's a bad sign.
She stumbles to Nana's house and finds the supplies that she needs and then has to clean it out and stitch it back up herself.
Ooh.
The stitching does not go well though, and she is running on adrenaline, blood loss, and pain. And it's really not working.
No.
Aaron basically finds her and he says, why didn't you ask for help? And she basically says, because I don't have the right to ask them for anything. So, sick. He takes over and stitches her up. He's hurting just as much as she is, and she can see it in his eyes. She gets off the table and stumbles because of the loss of blood, and she begs him to let her fight because it's all that she can do not to hate herself. And he says, like, look, we're just going to have to see how you are tomorrow because at the moment you can barely fucking stand. They're standing too close, you know, too fucking close. And his hands are on her waist and her hands are on his neck and her nipples are pebbled. I repeat, nipples are pebbled.
You know what happened.
Aaron gives us this one just to knock it out of the fucking park. Awake or asleep, all I see is your face. All I hear is your voice. All I feel is you in my arms. All I want is you.
That quote.
Sir.
That quote.
Feral.
Absolutely deplorable things. Absolutely.
Frothing from the mouth.
Aaron kisses her, and the quotes we get is, I need you in me. He turned her, his mouth tracing lines of fire down her neck, nipping at her shoulder, his fingers interlaced with hers as he bent her over the table, neither of them caring as their hands slid through the mess of blood, knocking her weapons to the floor with a clatter. There is no one in the world like you. His chest pressed against her back, and she could feel the thud of his heart, could feel his cock between her thighs, turning her body to fire as she pushed back against him, needing him to fill her, needing him to finish her. You are my goddamn damnation, but there will never be anyone but you.
Oh, my fucking nipples. My nipples are pebbled.
Turns out Lara is a screamer. So I was literally just finding the quote so I could read it to you. A scream of pleasure ripped from Lara's throat.
Oh, good.
I just feel like she was also very injured, so I'm wondering if it really was from pleasure.
Look, we can only hope at this stage. As she's orgasming, she screams her pleasure, and he follows her right on over the cliff. It's lovely. They fuck the pain away-ish. When Lara wakes up, they're cuddling, but it's not nice. Like, he's kind of stiff and not with a hard on. It's with regret. She says, I love you. And he says, I'm sorry, and leaves.
Yikes.
When I tell you, this moment broke me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. My nipples were pebbled and now they're just shriveled, and I'm just so sad for her. It's not a fun time, but now we're with Aaron and we're justifying things. He doesn't want to leave, but he's torn because he imagines his people's reaction if they knew what he had done, and he can't do that to them. And it's like, fuck them. I don't care about your people. I care about you and Lara. Your people have no factor in this, but they do. Aaron sits down with George Clooney. He goes, look, I heard all the screaming. I know what happened. In fact, everyone heard because she's not very quiet.
Screaming. She's not quiet at all.
So George Clooney is like, you need to choose between your screamer girlfriend and your country. Aaron says, I choose my country.
Boo.
So when Lara wakes up, she's alone. She ventures out of her little hut to go find everyone, and they've gone. And remember, she can't swim. She's on an island, and they've left her.
She's also seriously wounded.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And there's snakes around. I'm not a fan of any of these scenarios, and she's not angry. She's just sad. And I'm like, no, pure rage would overtake me in this moment.
I'd be running off pure rage.
Pure rage. But she hears the horns in the distance, and she realizes that Aaron has won the war for Ithaca. So she's like, okay.
It's my time to go.
So next chapter is Aaron's point of view. They win the battle, but Aaron is numb. He goes to the home that he had grown up in and sets it on fire. Sick. But he still feels nothing.
nothing. He is
That's
dead
a
inside.
super weird choice, but okay.
Super random.
This does not bring me joy.
Light it on fire. Must
Burn
die.
it.
They basically realise that something is wrong, though. Zara's team alert him that they faced no resistance, but then he realises that Erinal is exposed. Dun dun dun! Next chapter is Lara's point of view. Lara is limping across the bridge to leave when she sees that Erinal is under attack. Again, dun dun dun! Lara manages to swim to the boat and makes her way to Erinal, as she will not let it fall without a fight. Also, dun dun dun. The next chapter is in Aaron's point of view. Silas has destroyed the shipbreakers, the primary defense for Erinal, but it cost him, basically.
Aaron, Jor, and Leah manage to get past the portcullis as it lowers, and Aaron finally reunites with his sister Anna. It's a very short reunion, though, because the defenses are failing and they are running out of ammo. Aaron stays in the cave to basically hold the line with his people. Lara is just out on a tinny trying to get places. She's too late. She's trying to find a way to make it count, and she ends up falling off a cliff, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm not a fan of that. Essentially, the enemy has this big giant fuck-off chain on the gate. That gate is protecting the entry to Erinal. The aim of the game is to not break the gate, right? We end up in Lara's point of view. That's the aim of the game. She's falling off this cliff. Anna catches her mid-fall, and it's like, oh my god, monkey grip, here we are. She's inclined to like half throw her back into the ocean, but then like the battle kicks up and Anna thinks twice about that, and she's like, you know what, we could actually use you. There's obviously storms going on because of course they're in storm season. The enemy soldiers essentially are fed to the sharks as they continue to just like ram into this gate or get like picked off by Aaron soldiers. So not great. There's a shiver of sharks in the waters below. Lara is questioning things. She's looking at the battle and going, why on earth would they not retreat? Like, this weather is not getting any better. And then she's looking at the boat and she goes, I know why. It's because my daddy's here. And my daddy doesn't take no for an answer, much like Donald.
Lara basically has a new plan. Kill Dad. And once she kills her dad, the soldiers will then lose their motivation, so it all makes sense. She basically convinces Anna to help her and ends up using, like, the rope they're trying to use to pull the portcullis down as a bridge. It's horrifying, but she, like, just makes it. She's, like, zip-lining, essentially, across the ocean. She rolls onto the deck and is like, yo, Dad, why don't you love me? Lara challenges her father to a duel in front of all of his men. Fantastic. We get this quote. He snorted, I'm not in the practice of fighting women, just murdering them. Well, that's what she says. He's not just like, I don't fight women, I just kill them. She's like, no, you just kill them. So it's better, go with me. She's like you murdered my mother, like you tried to murder my sisters, like you'll do to me, she laughed. Or like you'll have your soldiers do to me, because apparently you haven't the balls to do it for yourself. The soldiers all shifted, interest chasing away their fear of the coming storm. If her father didn't accept, he'd be labelled a coward, and a mutiny would follow suit. And if he did and lost, her father saw the way they were looking at him, knew that if he didn't fight her, he was done. Lara is all bluster, though, and Silas knows it. Like, she is, again, very seriously injured, running on, like, I think she downed some herbs.
Yeah. She's basically snorted a line of coke and is like, I'm ready.
She's like, I've done the booger sugar, let's go. Silas is well trained. It's not looking great because also Lara's stitches have started to tear open and she's definitely bleeding out again. She's barely holding out against her father as they fight, but the crew around her are begging Silas to retreat due to the storm. Lara knows that she is never going to walk away from this fight and she's only there to give Erinal a shot at survival. She basically faints and then stabs her father in the chest. There were men that were loyal to her father on that ship that are now gunning for Lara. She basically does like a really dramatic somersault over the railing and into the ocean while bleeding heavily.
It's so fucking funny. I just picture her like walking backwards and then just being like, see you later.
You know, she's bleeding heavily. She's in the ocean and fins start to circle her. So we get this quote, swim, Lara, swim. The sound of her name pulled her eyes from the fins to the Ithacanen standing on the cliffs, above the wind tearing at their clothes. Dozens of them, hundreds of them, and Anna and Taryn were shouting at her, gesturing to the cabin below. Swim. She starts to swim. Fins circled her, enormous sleek shapes darting in, only to veer away at the last minute. They came closer, tails knocking into her legs as they thrashed away, and each time she waited for teeth to slice into her flesh, waited to be pulled down and torn apart or dragged, drowned, but she kept swimming. Lara is basically the last person alive in the sea and is somehow not getting eaten by sharks. But too bad, because Mother Nature decides to yeet her into a pile of twisted metal.
Sweet.
Nice. Turns out the portcullis is broken, but also like jammed in the entryway to the cave, so there's no way in or out of Arenal at the moment. Which, it's a bit unfortunate because, wouldn't you know, that would make it a pile of twisted metal which someone was just being yeeted into. So that's good. Leah appears and is like, "Lol, Aaron, we need to do something," and Lara's body is just flopping onto the metal. Aaron is obviously traumatized by the sight of this.
Yes, he absolutely is.
It's not good.
It's not looking good for our girl. She is being slammed and not in a good way.
Oh,
Aaron
dear.
is basically like goes to her and he lifts her from his side of the portcullis and tries to like hold her there and get her to breathe. He's like, "Hold on, Lara. If you're going to do anything right in your life, do this." And she's
Jesus.
like, "You need to let me go." But we get this moment. Lara says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all the hurt I caused you, all the hurt I caused Thakana. And I need you to know that I'd die 1,000 times over if there were a way to undo it." Aaron says, "But I need you. I love you and I've never stopped, not once, not even when I should have. Since the day we met, there has never been anyone but you. And there will never be anyone but you. You are my queen and I need you." Screaming. It's very
Jesus.
flip-floppy. He's just like,
Yeah.
"I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you."
I
hate
know.
you." He disappears for a moment. He's like, "You know what? You're right. I'm going to leave you. Bye."
Bye.
Chow goes away, disappears, comes back, though, with a solution. We love a man with a solution. "There's a space at the bottom," he said between gasps. "It's too small for me to fit through, but your shoulders are narrow. I'll be able to pull you through. You just need to hold your breath." But to reach it, she'd have to go down into the darkness and the depths of the water, and a familiar terror rose in her chest, tearing through her veins. "I can't. You can." He kissed her hard. "I've never once seen fear make a decision for you." Lara shook her head. This was too much. "I need you." His breath was hot against her lips. "And I need you to keep fighting." Closing her eyes, Lara struggled against her terror of the water, the terror that had haunted her steps from the moment she'd stepped foot into Ithacana. "You are a princess," she told herself, "a queen, but above all, she was a little cockroach." Lara nodded once, sucking in a deep breath, and then Aaron pulled her down beneath the surface.
I love it.
I know, so fucking good. They dive all the way down, but she is like trying to get through the hole, but her belt ends up catching, and then she takes a deep breath in. She's like, "You know what? I'm actually quite thirsty."
Look, obviously Aaron is quite traumatized, and it's only getting worse because now Lara's like really dead and he's trying to revive her, but it's not going well.
Yeah, look, it's not, and like this is Lara's POV now. It was a slow climb out of the murky darkness, the longest climb she'd ever made, through blackness and sadness and terror, chased by all the villains who had haunted her life, none the least the villain inside herself. Grasping and reaching and struggling, then she heard his voice, her name, heard the only command he'd ever given her. Lara opened her eyes. Amazing.
Screaming.
So, Lara, she comes to and she's smelling Ithacana around her. It just smells damp and slightly of mold. She's also feeling like shit, but, you know, she's in the bedroom that she once shared with Aaron, and he's sleeping in the chair next to her, and he also looks like shit, but they're both alive, so
Take the
for them.
wins.
You win some, you lose some.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Lara has been out for 3 days. Imagine a 3-day nap right now.
Oh,
I'll say less.
I know, right? But it's basically just a miracle that she has survived. And Ithacana is back under its own rule, and they've got the bridge, and invading forces have retreated. So all is right
Nice.
with the world.
yeah. Lara says that obviously she will leave as soon as she can walk. Aaron is like, well, actually, do you know how we try traitors? And Lara's like, obviously I know because I've been threatened with being fed to the sharks for like 2 whole books, so I'm very aware of that. And he's like, well, actually, the sharks provide like due process, and we actually just suspend the accused in the sea with chum in the water, and if the shark eats you, then you're guilty. And do you remember when you were just swimming, doing a casual doggy paddle through the ocean and the sharks weren't eating you?
She's just starfished her way back to safety.
Yeah, it basically means that she was true to Ithacana and basically means that the people are open to her atoning for her mistakes.
Pretty
No-
easy.
Yeah, very simple bail application. Lara will stay and be queen again. They go to address the people and Aaron is like, you should really rest, but our girl is stubborn. The quote we get is, I swore to fight by your side, to defend you to my dying breath, to cherish your body and none other, and to be loyal to you as long as I live. Picking up her knives, she slipped them into their sheaths with twin thunks, and that means where you go, I go too. His eyes were full of heat, of desire for her, of respect for her. As you say, your grace, offering his arm, Aaron bent low, his breath warm against her ear. There's no one in the world like you, you know. No, there isn't. Lara squared her shoulders as the door to the balconies were flung open, revealing a crowd of their people waiting below. Because there is only one queen of Ithacana, just as there is only one king. And if any of our enemies dare come for our kingdom, we will bring them to their knees.
Oh.
Fuck it up, Lara. Jesus.
Jeez Louise.
And that is where we end the book.
I loved that book. That was amazing.
Love that book.
I know,
And-
so good.
Given the caliber of that book, it's only fitting that I have a Taylor Swift reference for you all for this music. So, it's Haunted by Taylor Swift. Not very well known. Fucking classic.
love that song.
It is amazing. Okay, lyrics are, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Something's gone terribly wrong. You're all I wanted. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Can't breathe whenever you're gone. Can't turn back now. I'm haunted. And if that just doesn't sum up like Lara and Aaron throughout the majority of this book,
Oh, it's devastating.
so angsty. I love it.
A lot of the fan art that is out there for this series, we actually covered in book 1. So when we were looking for fan art for you guys for book 2, there's not a lot, but there is a particular one that is the best. It is the portcullis scene by Nataliebernardart, and it's gorgeous. It's phenomenal. And then obviously Dominiquewesson did an alternative cover for Traitor Queen, and you know we love Dominiquewesson.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
There is a person called Salteas, and they basically did 2 colour-in pages for Traitor Queen.
Brilliant, amazing. I'm obsessed.
So Salteas does like very cutesy, cartoony style stuff, so that's a goodie.
Oh, yes. So fucking
Maybe-
cute.
All right, everyone, that is another episode of A Book and a Bev done, and I am personally very, very excited to announce the next book that we are covering. It is God's Grave by J. Christoph, so book 2 in the Nevernight Chronicle. I love this author, I love this series, so I'm very excited to dive in.
We love Mia.
Yeah.
We love you all. Thank you for your support, and we will see you all next week.
Bye!
Bye. Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, if you haven't already, at A Book and a Bev podcast.
Please rate, like, and subscribe. We hear that helps.
We love and appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.